All right, guys. This is the first of many trainings to come, hopefully. And the most important training I will start with today. It is, in fact, in my opinion, the most important meeting because it'll cover the 5 things that you need to do on an everyday basis. One of these fives you do every single day for 5 days in a row in your team, and you're going to change the way your team operates. It'll change the way your shop operates. So let's get right into it, guys. I call these the 5 basic meetings that you got to have every single week. Let's call them the 5 main meetings. And most of these are around, in my opinion, the mindset of the shop. But these also will get into a lot of the procedural things that we will be learning, including sales, phone scripts, so on and so forth. So let's get right into it. The first meeting I always like to start with is the ability to say yes. And this is something that we learned a very long time ago from Greg Sands and Todd Hayes. You can go on, and we'll send you those videos. But the ability to say yes is the most important thing. Because when you can't say yes, you will not have cars. So we've always discussed the most important metric in a shop is car count. So if you don't have cars, nothing else matters. So the first thing we always say is say yes. And when do you say yes? It is, in fact, on your phone. When a customer calls, you have to say yes. And the way we say yes in our company is through our phone scripts, also known as the Anytime script. Anytime script, in our opinion, is the most valuable tool to grow a shop's revenue because you can double your shop's revenue the moment you practice the Anytime script. Now, when we get more into phone training and Anytime scripts, you will realize that you have level 1, level 2, and level 3 calls. Level 1 and level 2 are most of your call volumes. That's what's going to change the trajectory of your shop. Level 3 calls are also important, but they're less than 5% in my opinion. And honestly, they are big money tickets, but if you don't even learn them, little trick for you, it's not going to matter that much because level 1 and level 2 are the ones you really need to master. The thing that we understand with phone scripts and saying yes is that whoever asks the questions is in charge. So if you ask lots of questions, you are in charge. And we also know that the reason we have these phone scripts is because 95% of phone calls are predictable because we run a repair shop. So we kind of have a very similar call volume in terms of what people call for. They're usually calling because their car is broken, they either need a price, or they just want to come in. They don't even care because they've been there before. Or they may have a repair that they think that is needed and they want to either verify it or compare you to someone else. So again, level 1 is when they just want to come in, you just say yes. Level 2 is they need a price, you ask questions, and then you're able to tell them, hey, it's free, and anytime this happens, 15 minutes and it's now, and get it done, it's free. We can check it out, go from there. And again, level 2, they have not had a confirmed diagnosis. That's the difference between a level 2 call and a level 3 call. That's why you must ask the question, have you had anyone look at it? And level 3 call, they have had someone look at it. And the biggest issue is generally trust. You will tell them, hey, we are a professional. We will tell you what's wrong. It's free, 15 minutes. I can tow it. And again, the key is you always want to ask a lot of questions on these phone calls. So again, this is what saying yes is all about. You got to role play. Practice makes perfect. And if you understand this, you will lead to the whole idea is you should get enormous increase in cars. That's the whole point of why we do phone scripts and why we say yes. You want more cars. Great. Let's move on to the second thing, which is the sense of urgency in a shop. So, what is sense of urgency? The sense of urgency is what, in my opinion, separates the men from boys. And in my opinion, that is what makes good culture, because the whole point of culture, gentlemen and ladies, is that it allows you to produce a sense of urgency. So when you have culture, that gives you a sense of urgency, and you generally learn that culture comes from good leadership. So good leadership leads to good culture, which leads to sense of urgency, which leads to massive sales. Because when a customer sees that you are fast, that they see that you're putting them first, generally what happens is your average ticket goes up because your average quote goes up, your close ratio goes up. Guys, 50% of sales is just sense of urgency. And we'll get to that in number 3. Never let the customer call you. So another part of the sense of urgency for me is always play offense. Always play offense. Never let the customer call you and ask, if their car is done, if they have an update. Because if they do that, you are no longer playing offense, then you're playing defense. And a faster team will always, and by guys, I mean by faster, I don't mean beating book time, right? I mean getting cars in, getting cars out, getting inspections in, calling on the parts right away, just being very cognizant of time. The number one issue customers have with auto repair shops is the speed of communication. Believe it or not, it's not price, it's not even trust. It's just they don't call me when they said they would. And when you do exactly the opposite of what they're used to with most repair shops, you're going to find out very quickly that customers actually like you, blow their minds, and a faster team in that sense, making sure, will always be a higher ARO and customer happiness. And if you do those things along with here, you have more cars, and we know this, that cars times ARO, boom, you get your new sales. So you get a lot more sales, and as a result of that, you're able to grow revenue very quickly. All right, let's get into number 3. I'm skipping over stuff. Number 3 I'll do right here. And that for me is it's sales fixes everything. Yes, sir. Sales fixes everything. Sales covers all sins. There's 1,000 different ways to say it. And I'm a staunch believer in that if you just sell a lot, you can basically crawl your way out of any problem. So this is really reiterating number 1 and number 2, because the whole goal of saying yes and sense of urgency is to increase sales. And sales fixing everything, and this, in my opinion, is just understanding that scripting your sales procedures, your ISO 1, ISO 2, your sales scripts, which we call ISO 1, ISO 2, and also, by the way, your write-up, right? Because the sale starts when the customer walks in the door. Your write-up is such a big deal, and people don't even have a good write-up procedure, and then they wonder why customers don't buy. So understanding those procedures that we have on how to write up a customer, how to do an isolation 1, how to do isolation 2, and following those procedures really tightly to make sure that you see what the wisdom of those procedures is, why you should have pictures, why you should send motive visuals, why you should plan out your sale prior to pitching it, why you should have someone sell it to you so you can actually find holes in the pitch. It is crucial. And honestly, there's the whole premise here is that if you just sell more, you can grow your company, you can create more jobs, you can say no to crappy jobs, you can kind of control what you want to work on or not. And I've always said it, if you sell $100,000 in repairs every single week, you can hire the technicians. All of that will kind of take care of itself. But sales has to be the focus of the whole team. The whole team, not just the front counter, but the techs, everybody must understand that sales fixes everything. And they must understand that these sales scripts, sense of urgency, speed, all of that plays so that the company can succeed. I'm a huge proponent, as you know, of role play here, right? If you're going to be the best phone scripts, you need to role play. Down here, the same thing. You got to role play. And I always say 3 times, a minimum for every ticket until you get really, really good at it, especially for the newer guys. Man, you got to role play. And again, going back, if you look at the ISO 1 and the write-up procedures, it'll tell you that the definition of sales is overcoming objections. And you overcome objections by never having an objection in the first place because you've already seen it coming. And the only way you can do that is by prepping the sale so much that you can actually point out all the objections ahead of time. So then when you present your ticket, at the end the customer just says, how much? And when you've done that, that's a yes. And if the customer instead asks a lot of questions, that means you have a lot of holes in your ticket. So we will get into all of that when we do sales training. You will see those. And more focus on the main metric, which allows you to increase total sales. Again, the goal here is to get the whole team caring about the one thing that matters, that is sales. Everybody understands that this is what we're trying to get paid off of, because at the end of the day, that's what pays for everything. All right, let's get into number 4 and number 5. These are more of a, in my opinion, culture things. And this one would be: the team is the hero. So in our company, we don't think that just because somebody has a lot of certifications or somebody is selling a lot of auto repair that they're the hero. Because we believe that we're like a football team. The quarterback would not be able to throw touchdowns without the line, and the kicker can't kick the ball unless he has a person blocking for them. So similarly, we don't believe that we have one person that's leading. Of course, everybody does their role, but the goal here is to understand that we got to support each other. And we all have to be, in my words, what I call hype men. We have to hype each other to do more of what the good stuff is, to encourage each other, to not put one person on a pedestal. And the goal is, this is really the whole point of this, is the goal is to get the ball across the goal line, right? The goal is to get the ball in the end zone. Doesn't matter who does it, because when that ball is in the end zone, the whole team wins. When the team wins, well, we all get paid, the customer's happy, and you have sales, and therefore you're able to continue playing the game at a higher level, grow your company, hire more people, change more lives. So remember, the goal is that the team can get a lot more done than any individual. So focus on protecting the team. Always protect the team. And that's another thing, right? Protect the team. Don't protect any person. If somebody's harming the team, you need to take care of that immediately. This is Shop 101, guys. Shop 101. Always protect the team. And finally, and this is probably the most important thing, which is why I saved it for last, the customer pays for everything. And what I mean by that is that every single dollar that's generated in our company comes from the customer. So the customer at the end of the day is the boss. It's not me. It's not it's not any of the guys. It's the customer. That's the MVP. We need to make the customer happy. All of this has to end up making sure that that customer loves us. Why? Because at the end of the day, we're nothing without our customers. We don't have a business. We're just a bunch of dudes hanging in a repair shop with tools and phones and scripts. But if there's no customers and they don't have a good opinion of us, they don't return to us, at the end of the day, we don't have a business. So what I have here is that treat every customer like it's your mother, right? And if you don't like your mom, which I hope that's not the case, like your sister, your wife, your daughter, right? Every customer, because why? Because that is somebody's daughter, wife, husband, brother, right? Like your most beloved person. Most beloved person, because somebody loves that person and they would be very upset if you didn't treat them right, just like you wouldn't be very happy if somebody mistreated the vehicle of your beloved husband, wife, whatever you want to say. And if you do that, that is my quick and dirty advice of how you should treat these customers, because at the end of the day, if you treat them like your most beloved person, I assure you, you're not going to do anything that would jeopardize their money, their time, their vehicle, their trust. And if you do that, guys, I'm telling you right now, all of this will fall into place. Your business will grow. Your team will also stand behind it. You will have the right idea. And remember that feedback from a customer is gold. Seek that feedback, especially the negative feedback, because that's how you get better. That's extremely crucial to take a complaint and understand what we fell short on. Make that customer happy at all costs, and then take that feedback and make sure that you improve on it. And finally, exceed their wildest service goals and raving fan service. That's what we aim for, right? Give them raving. This marker is giving up on me. Raving fan service, which leads to customers for life. And if you guys remember what Raving Fan Service is, it's customer service plus one. Customer service plus one. What that means is you give them the best service you could possibly give them, and then just a little bit more. You put on that free windshield washers on fluid on there. Or not, sorry, windshield wiper blades on there. Car wash, goodie bag, something a little bit extra on top of making sure that their car is fixed, that they were communicated with, that they were received friendly service, that they liked the fact that you give them a very solid pitch with no objections, that you prepped your sales. The best way to love your customers, in my opinion, is to prep for them from the get-go. If you prep for your customers on your phone scripts because you've done it 1,000 rings, and then you go and do your isolation scripts and you prep for them, you at least present it a couple of times, you read this material, you learn. When you do all of these things, you're able to give a very high level of customer service, a very intentional level of customer service, right? And if you're able to do all this training and you're able to provide that level of service to your customers, not only does the customer have a very smooth experience where they are dealing with a professional. Remember, guys, the difference between a professional and an amateur is a professional trains more than they actually perform, right? When you watch football on Sunday night, you're able to see these guys that play for an hour, 2 hours, but they've been practicing for hundreds of hours before that night. And that's what makes them a professional versus somebody like us who we pick up the football and play in the schoolyard, and that might be the only time we play, right? We're amateurs. And that's what happens in our industry is that people perform more than they practice, and you can tell the moment you call their stores when they don't know what they're doing, and the moment you throw in a question off the left field, they're stuttering and they don't know what to do because they have no script, they have no plan, they have no, just nothing. They're not professional, right? So as a result, the customer can feel that choppy ride, the turbulent ride, right? There's going to be choppiness, but if you prepare for it, you can actually eliminate that and give that customer a very smooth experience right out of the gate. Not only that, you're able to actually sell them auto repair in a proper way, in a smooth. We make money, the customer's happy, and everybody wins as a result of that. So if you do that, you will not only increase your volume through cars, if you do the sales script, you also increase your ARO, you will also increase your total sales, and you will remember that if you protect the team, you can actually give the best level of service if you protect the team, because the team can do a lot more than one person. And if you do all of these things, they really all just add up for the ultimate customer experience. Remember, you add this, plus this, and then what you have at the end of it is you have the ultimate customer experience, and the customer that pays for everything is actually happy with us, and we're able to prosper going into the future, and we win. So that's the 5 basics of running a repair shop, in my opinion. And if you do one of these meetings every single day, 5 days a week for a month, I promise you it'll change your business. It'll change how much revenue you do. It will change your culture, and it will change your customer experience, and you will have customers for life. I hope this was helpful, and there will be a lot more on these videos. Thank you very much.